I run into problems like this all the time, and this is why I double check before going outside. So I was planning on taking the 5:45 bus and getting to work an hour early to set up because I haven't been there in a while. For about between 6 and 8 weeks, I've been out with a GI infection and seizures. The GI infection is better, so I'm going straight back to work. I've been dealing with the seizures and the neurological activity for 25 years, so I'm good at dealing with it to a point, and I'll be heading to work. But here's the problem. I was waiting to see the bus come out of the bus station in Dover, the transportation center. I'm staring at they turn on the sign for the light blue, it heads out. I'm looking for the dark blue, or sometimes they run it on the red or yellow and you can't tell by the color, so you gotta wait for it to move. There was none. There was only one bus and it's moving in the opposite direction, so it can't be that. I'm going, well, wait a minute. I'm supposed to, I want to get there an hour early. Why can't I get there an hour early? So I go online. Now I'm shaking too, so this isn't great for my nervous system, but I go to the Dover Transportation Center's website and I type in Coast Buses Route 12 schedule, newest, most updated schedule. I also have the phone number to call in and I have a paper schedule, but I did it on this schedule, so it'll be the newest. And it runs only at 6:45, it gets to me. Leaves the Dover Transportation Center at 6:30. It gets to me at 6:45. So there's no way I can be there an hour early if I like it or not. I'll have to be there 15 minutes early or on time. Well, that's fine. I mean, I'm always on time, but I like to get to work or to my doctor's an hour or two early. That way, if something happens, I have a chance to, get back up and finish it or go in the hospital. I just have a chance to get something done. Because I know it's dangerous, the situation I'm in, and that's why I'm trying to fix it. I mean, my mother and father are the ones who did this to me at age 5 or 7, and they're the ones who haven't reported it properly, and they're the ones with the medical records in the Social Security case. I've never collected Social Security a day in my life. My father collected with my name. That's totally different. And so that's a big barrier that's interfering with me getting better, and I will just have to live my life like this until maybe he comes out of denial, but that's probably not going to happen. So I'll just have to like leave 2 hours early, get to work an hour and a half early or whatever, 2 hours early, an hour early, and if something happens on the way, get back up and do my job and then go to the hospital. I mean, I spend a lot of time in the emergency room or hospital. Keep that in mind. While other people spend their days off with friends or with their boyfriend out to eat or at the movie theater or playing video games or riding a bike, I'm at the emergency room, I'm at the doctor, I'm making up for emergency room visit because I have to make things up too. Like, I mean, make up the time. Like, if I miss something, I have to make that up. If I miss a vet appointment with my cat, then I have to call and I have to bring him another day. I have to make sure to schedule it later. I have to make up these dates. I mean, you have to. You have to make up time. You just can't, let things go. If you miss a day of work, you got to make that up. You do. You got to go back in and make up that day. Maybe you work a 12-hour shift on a weekend to give your coworker the weekend off, but if something happens, you need to make it up. But thank God for me, most of my seizures have been out of work on the side of the road. So I haven't had that be a big issue at this job. Now, there was a gas station where I had a seizure behind my register, and that was completely awful. One of the worst and most hard to understand, and one of the most. It wasn't good because nobody wanted to call an ambulance, and I'm not in any condition to call an ambulance. And I just said I would be reporting one of my coworkers who just came in the door and has a bad attitude. So now she's using the situation to get back at me because there's so much going on at that time. So that was a pretty bad one. But other than that one, most of them have been on the side of the road, in the woods, when I was homeless, in the cold, when I was a child. It was spread out more, further apart when I was a child, but the neurological activity is every day. I always have the neurological activity. I always have the nerve issues. I'm always shaking. I always can't control my movements of my arms and limbs. I always have this taser-like feeling going through my body. But the seizures were broken apart like 4 years apart, then 2 years apart, then 1 year apart, then multiple in the same year. And so I guess I have a whole nother hour before I can possibly take the bus. So it's a good thing I didn't go outside and hurt myself for nothing.